Hey guys, Waddler-D here. We're back for more Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and we're going to talk about Ganon today. Mainly due to the fact that Ganon is definitely a little bit better in this game than he was, say, in Brawl, but he's still not up to that melee counterpart par. But nevertheless, Ganon is definitely a more fun character to play, mainly due to the fact that despite being his slow-ass, powerful as hell self, he is actually, there's been little improvements that make him a little bit more fun to play, especially when you get those hits in. Because that's all what you need to do as Ganon. You need to punish, play mind games, and read your opponents. Because you have to be 2 steps ahead to beat your opponent. With up-close fighters, like say for instance Shulk, Ganon's definitely going to have an easier time because he doesn't have to worry about dealing with all these things and obstacles in this way to punch him in the face, because Ganon definitely doesn't have much range. I mean, the wizard foot definitely has some, but you can't really get much out of that if you get interrupted out of it every so often. However, Ganon definitely has some ways to get pie spam, but let's talk more about the up close and personal stuff. Ganon is definitely going to have a big advantage unless the character is a very speedy character, then it's going to be a little bit tricky. But as long as you are reading your opponent well, up-close battles should not be a huge issue, because it's just a matter of playing mind games and knowing what to do in certain situations. Now, it's safe to say that Ganon will still run into trouble. If anything, if you don't happen to know all the moves you should use with Ganon, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of trouble. Because if one thing, Ganon has some really bad or really unpractical moves. Like, for instance, you're not going to throw out a Warlock Punch or an up tilt unless you are planning something mind gamey or basically aiming to kill your opponent. And trust me, if you don't want to throw out really slow moves as Ganon, because that's just all the punishing that you need. What you want to do is you want to throw out moves like forward tilt, the jab, down tilt. His aerials are all good. Don't skimp on Ganon's aerial ability. Granted, he does jump like crap, but Ganon has really good aerials. His up aerial is one of his best because, for one thing, you have a lot of range with that move. You basically create a shield above your head and around your body, and you pretty much are in a good position to hit anybody that comes your way, because it has good priority and it hits really hard. Now, other things you should know about Ganondorf is while his down air, his thunder stomp, some people like to call it, is a little nerfed because you can't short hop it anymore. It's still a really powerful tool to kill opponents because it has so much freaking power behind it. You hit somebody with that move off stage, excuse me, you're going to expect to see people either die or desperately teching off the stage to survive, because that's the only way you're going to live if you nail it. If you happen to hit a sour spot, you're going to see it knock them right off pretty far still. It's a very powerful move, and you definitely want to use that move. Now, like I said before, Ganon, while having good chance against up-close fighters, will start to struggle against people with a lot of projectiles and quick characters with a lot of projectiles. That's probably Ganon's worst fights, when he has to deal with someone that's fast and can keep him at bay, because Ganon needs to get up close to do anything, really. Now, when you are in that situation, you just kind of have to read your opponent at that point and figure out a way around the spam, because that's the only way you're going to really do a lot of damage and effectiveness with Ganondorf. And his 2 approaching moves, or at least 2 of them that you can just bust out on a whim, is his Flame Choke and his Wizard's Foot on the ground. Both moves are kind of risky in a way, because if you miss with them, you're open for punishment. And they don't come out exactly fast, and Ganon's definitely not invincible during those animations. I would say Flame Choke definitely kind of beats out the Wizard's Foot, and usefulness, because for one thing, if you nail that move, if you use it against a character that's doing a move where they charge towards you, like say for instance Yoshi Egg or Sonic's little spin charge, you actually beat them out with the grab. That's all there is to it. But other moves, like say for instance a big foot to the face, Ganon's gonna lose that. So it's a very tricky move to know when and when not to use it. Same with the Wizard's Foot, but it's more safer to throw that out because you're more likely to cancel out whatever's coming your way, but don't count on it doing that all the damn time. Pretty much how it works with the Ganondorf. Now, one thing you should also not do too much of is going off stage with Ganondorf. While Ganondorf has some really powerful aerials that are really good for punishing your opponent, Ganondorf has, as you can tell, no recovery and definitely no aerial mobility. So you're gonna have to be really careful if you're playing to intercept somebody. Otherwise, this crap could happen. Done. But this is where up tilt comes in handy, because up tilt is a very powerful edge guarding tool because it's one of Ganon's strongest moves. If you hit somebody with that, you will either A, break their shield if they guard, B, have them dodge it and you get punished, or C, get blown up sky high. So keep that move in mind whenever you see somebody coming towards the stage and you're like, I don't want to really intercept them, so let's play a mind game. Up tilt is a great mind game, so just keep that in mind when you're playing as Ganons. Now, when you're dealing with somebody that likes to play a ton of spam, this is probably where Ganon's going to have a tough time unless you can figure out their spam really well. Someone like Duck Hunt Dog is going to give Ganon a hard time because he has some very unpredictable projectiles and ones that he can control pretty well, so that's what makes this fight pretty tough for Ganon. Sheik is pretty much a no contest kind of fight because Ganon will literally be begging for a hit or just getting close or anything, because Sheik has all these things to keep him at bay. Not to mention, Sheik is also really fast and can keep him juggled in the air and other various things. So that's what makes that fight really, really ridiculous for Ganondorf. And there's not much you can do about it. I mean, you just have to find ways around your opponent. That's where reading becomes very crucial as Ganondorf. But if you can read your opponent and you can figure out the ways around their spam, it gets to be more fun. And that's pretty much kind of the draw with Ganondorf. If you can find ways to neutralize or limit his weaknesses and can capitalize on his strengths, he can become a character that you can win a lot with. Like, I can tell you this, a lot of my matches online, I've won with Ganondorf. And being able to practice with all the different kinds of spam gives me it gives you a security knowing that, yeah, I can take care of this because I know how to do it with Ganondorf, or know how to take care of this strategy. Granted, Ganondorf is going to be at a natural disadvantage in most fights, but at the very least, it's good to know that he can withstand it thanks to his power and just the fact that he is all around a little bit more user-friendly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little presentation on Ganondorf. And I'm definitely going to be playing a tons more of him because of how fun he is. And honestly, if you guys are still thinking about a character, I would definitely suggest giving Ganondorf a try, because if anything, Ganondorf is just like a really slow, really powerful Captain Falcon. Granted, his moves are definitely a lot more different than they were in, say, Melee, where he is just pretty much exactly that. But it's just fun and satisfying to see success with him, because he hits so damn hard, and when those moves hits, it's like, holy shit. Yeah, it's like, damn, fireworks has happened in front of you, and you were the one behind the fuse, basically. So definitely consider using Ganondorf if you're looking for a heavy weight character to use. I definitely would suggest King Dedede, because he's pretty much that heavy hitter kind of type with slow moves that you kind of have to figure out. But he also has projectiles that kind of help mix up the game a little bit. And as one other thing, once you get good with Ganondorf, you'll start to see you get better with other characters, because that's pretty much the idea. If you play as Ganondorf, excuse me again, by the way, you get to better read on characters in general, and you can just use faster characters to basically punish a lot faster than you would normally do. I mean, it's just something to consider. So, like I said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy the rest of this fight, as this guy pretty much pollutes the air with spam and does a pretty good job. I mean, I'm not going to down him for it. I mean, it's just half the game. You have to have a strategy, and he has a pretty effective strategy, but you just have to know how to keep it in balance, because crazy shit can happen like that. So thanks for watching, have a great day, and adios.